Hey guys, working on my 2015 Infiniti QX80, and I will be replacing some back brakes and rotors. If you ever want to see, I'll show you when we get the tire off, but for now I want to show you can jack the car up by the differential. You can put your jack stands right here. The lug nuts on the ground, these are 21 millimeters. Break them on the ground, lift them up, and we're going to remove the tire. So before we get started, how do you know if your back brakes are going bad? Usually when your back brakes are going bad, when you push the brake pedal, you'll feel the brake pedal kind of push back at you, kind of pulsate back at you. Usually when your fronts are going bad, you'll usually feel your steering wheel shake. Another thing is, it's hard to see the actual brake pad material on this vehicle, but if you look here where the brake pad sits in the bracket, if you notice that the pad itself is really deep in the bracket, then you know that your brake pads are low, okay? So let's begin. First thing I like to do is I like to hit the rotor itself with some WD-40, and then I like to spray this bleeder screw with some WD-40 as well, because we're going to be cracking that when we push the pedal back. Break this off. 10 millimeter right here. This is optional, by the way, but I'll show you why I do it. Oh, there we go. I got scared. Okay, that's off. Now that that's cracked, tighten that back down. We can get started. These are 14 millimeters. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. The bolt is not facing me, so it is the opposite. So right here. Good. And then here, down here. Out. That's out. And then lastly, now we're just going to get here and pry this out, and I'm going to lay this on the lower control arm, so don't just let it hang. You can put stress on the brake hose. Now we're going to take off our bracket. I think these are 19s, and I think I go in the up position. There we go. That's one. And then, all right, let me try this again. There we go. Jesus. Cool. And then, now be careful here because the strut is right there. You don't want to get stuck up against the strut, so I'm going to pull the rest out by hand. Just like that. And oh my god, you guys. Look how close my brake pads are. Pull this out for you. That's how I knew I was hitting this. I guess I forgot to mention, another thing is, if you ever drive your car without the radio on, when you hit your squealers, you'll usually hear like a slight skeet, skeet. That's what it was sounding like. Look how close I was. Yo. Oh my god. Alright. Alright, next up, it's time to pull your rotor off. If it doesn't come off easy, you have to get a sledgehammer. You can usually hit back here. Remember, this is only if you intend on replacing your rotor. Smack back here. You can smack around here too, but smack back here. Make sure your parking brake is not on. If your parking brake is on, this will not come out, and if you try to pull it out, you will break it or damage it. So I'm just going to shimmy it, and she's out. Oh yeah. And we're going to be taking this out shortly too. Fun part is to clean up everything and spray it all down with brake clean. This is old anti-seize right here, which is I'm happy to see somebody thought of it, and I appreciate you, sir. And now we're just gonna clean all this stuff up. We're gonna clean this old anti-seize off, clean up the hub. We gotta clean everything before we get our new parts on here. If this is not clean, what could happen is the rotor will sit, it won't sit flush. It'll kind of sit off the hub a little bit, and it'll rotate kind of cockeyed, and that will be bad for you. You might notice your car feels really dumb or it brakes really loud. Alright, here you can push the pad forward. It's a little bit easier that way. Pull that out. We're replacing our hardware, so push these clips out. Now, brake clean. Wire brush. Here as well, on the inside. You don't want rust hitting the rotor. Like that. Here too. Cool. Now that we got this clean, we're going to re-lubricate and clean up our slide pins. You notice that that's supposed to move, and it is really hard. Not good. And good old yucky brake grease. Alright. And I'm just gonna wipe it down like this. Good, nice and shiny. That's what we want to see. I'm going to be using silicone paste instead of brake grease. Brake grease gets hard. When it starts to go bad, it just gets like brick, and this doesn't move. And then when this doesn't move, this is how your brake pads will ride the rotor, and this is how you get uneven pad wear. If not worse, they get stuck and you get a bad situation. So make sure you re-lubricate these. Silicone paste is way better in my opinion. Doesn't go bad and doesn't dry out like this regular brake grease does. Like that. And we're going to insert it here, and look how much better movement we have. That's way better, way better. Let's grab this one. Look at that, hard as a brick. Okay, and again, get that in there, and look at that movement. Amazing. All right. Before I start lubricating anything, we'll keep that there for now. We're gonna get ready for the next thing, and that is this caliper. Gotta clean this too. Brake clean right here, and wipe out the grit. Do your best. Sometimes I don't really like doing it, but if you do it gentle enough, like a flathead, get that hard stuff off. There you go. And cool. Now we're gonna get in here and clean this as well. Okay, got some stuff set up here. Right now I have my one-man brake bleeder screw attached to this. I'm using a brake pad to push this back. You can use a C-clamp, and I have a caliper tool, okay? Now what I like to do is I always like to crack this open so that when we push the fluid back, I don't like pushing fluid back into the ABS motor. ABS module, a lot of vehicles don't like it anymore. Plus you want to get that old used brake fluid out the system so that newer fluid can be introduced into the system. So I'm gonna turn this to my left, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Yep, that is to my left. And we should see some fluid come out. Like that. And there we go. And as I squeeze this, you will see fluid start to enter the system. Plus it'll be easier to push the caliper back when you do it like that. That's very nice. And now that we're done here, I'm just gonna tighten this back down so that we don't let any air get into the system. And pop this out like that. Ooh. And look at all that brake fluid we got. It's all old brake fluid. Alright. Now with that done, we can clean this. to get some ceramic brake parts lubricant. You can use copper anti-seize too if you have it. Now what we're going to do here is lubricate the backhand side. You do this because if these clips move at all, they shimmy at all, the metal to metal contact can cause squealing. So what you do here is you put a little bit of this behind it, and then you get your clip here like this, and we'll wipe off the excess. We don't want this stuff touching the rotor or the brake pad material itself. But see, a lot of times these can shimmy a little bit, and what you'll get is chatter, 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 squeak, squeak, squeak. With that gel behind it, it won't happen. It goes right on here, like so. Good. Now, just gonna start wiping off excess, especially on the inside. You don't want this stuff to touch the rotor itself. There we go. Now we can get our rotor ready. And I'm just gonna put this in some spots. My brush is bad, so I gotta work with me here. Alright, now with my finger, I'm gonna spread this around the hub, paint it on especially around the rim. That's the most important part, actually. Try not to actually touch the studs. It's okay if they're at the very back, but you don't want to actually get the anti-seize on the front of the studs. Alright, we got our hub painted. Now let's go to the rotor. And we go here, we're going to push this through like that. And we're going to install this on our new rotor. And push this right here. And we're just going to, what this is for is this is to adjust the parking brake from without taking the rotor off. And there we go. Alright, that's in. And we're gonna, I don't need to do this. This has a coating on it, but when you get rotors, they have a oil coating so they don't rust. Let's spray these and clean these out. Okay. And just like that, flip it. Do the same. Don't forget, make sure you wipe inside of here too. This is where your parking brake bites. It bites on the outside of this. Let's get this in. There we go. Whew. That parking brake is still very fresh. Okay, good. We can turn it. All right, now let's get our brake pads on here. And here, a little bit of thread locker. Not a lot at all. Not required, but I like to use it in these situations. Get this started. Same thing here. Nothing crazy. And and it's torque wrench time. These get torqued to a whopping 122 foot-pounds. And there we go. Cool. Let's get those brake pads. Got our new brake pads here. And just to show you before and after. That is a huge difference. My God. All right. And Which one has a squealer? This one has a squealer, so it goes on the inside. But I'd like to get some more of this stuff right here and put it where it meets contact with the bracket right there, and then this side right here. A little bit on here doesn't hurt either. And this goes in the front, so you got a better visual. The way this kind of works is a little bit interesting to slot this in, but you kind of drop it in the slots like that. You push down and you go in. And as you see there, the reason why I put a little bit on there is because that pushes against there. That can cause metal to metal contact. That can cause squealing too. And then the squealer goes on the inside because the inside pad wears out a little bit faster than the outside pad does typically. A little bit right there. There you go. Not a lot of this stuff. You don't want to cake this stuff on. And then same scenario. Shit. Hold on. Okay, sometimes the inside pad can be a little bit challenging. Once you get it in there, get a little sledgehammer and tap it. And we're good. Okay, and just observe and make sure nothing's making contact with the rotor. And now we can get our caliper on. And I'm gonna show you one more thing I like to use here. Where is it? Okay, so if you don't know, vibrations cause squealing. I'm gonna put something called this everything's going. It's called Loctite disc brake stick. It's a glue that goes right here. And what it does is it sticks to the backing plate, this right here on the rotor. So what happens is you don't get like that scratching noise, which causes squealing sounds. So I'm gonna put that on here too. And if you really want to, you can put a little bit on the rim of the piston, like that. And make sure you install it. Don't install it cockeyed. Don't twist this. It's not supposed to go in a certain way. If you feel like you're struggling to put it on, then you probably got it twisted in the wrong direction. Like that. And right here. And right here. 14 millimeters. And these only get torqued to like 20 foot-pounds. So it's really no need to get a torque wrench for that. Just make sure that they're snug. Just like that. It's about as tight as you snug down a drain bolt for your oil change. And now, and last thing here, insert your insert your little fitting. And now our system is all done. Everything is tightened down. Everything is on. We're gonna put our wheels on, put them all finger tight or snug them up at least a little bit. Put it on the ground, torque them to 100 foot-pounds. We're gonna pump our pedal, and then we're gonna go to the brake reservoir and refill our fluid. Because remember, I took fluid out, so I need to put fluid back in. All right, I'm gonna torque these to 100 foot-pounds, 21 millimeters. Do a second pass. Right now we actually are above the max line. When we pump the pedal, let's see how much it goes down. Yeah, okay, this is not like a normal ABS or master cylinder. It has like this electrical box on it. Maybe when I start it, it will compress the piston. So for now, yeah, I think because of this electrical box, this master cylinder looks a little special. I'm gonna start the truck up and see if this fluid goes down. Okay, so for this truck, you do have to start the vehicle for the brake fluid to go down into the caliper. I was above the max line before we started. I'm just under the max line now, so I don't really need to put any more brake fluid in here. But I will say, this truck takes dot 3. If you have dot 4, you can put dot 4 with dot 3. You just can't do it the other way around, okay? Other than that, thanks for watching, you guys. Till next time, out, bye.